to do a reading vlog for Dewey's, and it doesn't officially start until 5 a.m. tomorrow, October 24th. But because I'm not into staying up all night reading anymore, I am going to start tonight. So right now it's about 7:15, and I thought I would just start my time now and read as much as I can between now and tomorrow at this time. So the books that I'm going to read for this readathon are The Wonderful Adventures of Mrs. Seacole in Many Lands by Mary Seacole. This is for Victober, and this is a nonfiction Victorian autobiography written by Mrs. Mary Seacole herself. So really excited to get to this. This is a tiny little book. It has tiny little font, and there's about 200 pages. So we'll see how far I get in this one. The other book for Victober I'm reading in this readathon is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I've already started. I am up to chapter 3, and there's about 300 pages in this one. So I'm going to see how far I can get in this. And then my third book for this readathon is The Reluctant Fundamentalist by Mohsin Hamid. And this book is set post 9/11 in the US, and it is about a Pakistani student who is climbing up the ladder of success in the United States and then has to deal with the repercussions from 9/11. So yeah, very excited to get to this as well. So I'm going to be checking in with you as I go along. This book has almost 184 pages, so I think it's a perfect book for a readathon. This was due back at the library today, and it's on hold by somebody else, but I haven't read it yet, so I'm keeping it, and I'm sorry, person, whoever you are, but you'll get it soon enough. I'm going to try to finish it this weekend so that I can get it back to the library really soon. So yeah, I'll check in again later, and that's what I'm going to be reading for you guys. everybody. So it is about 20 minutes to 5 on Saturday, and I've been reading for Dewey's 24-hour readathon. So I've gotten quite a ways into The Reluctant Fundamentalist by Mohsin Hamid, and I'm really enjoying this. I think he's on my authors to revisit list for a reason, and that reason is that he is a great writer. And even though this book is very, very different from Exit West, it still has a stamp on it, a voice that I connect with most, with that voice that was in Exit West. And we're just getting to the period right now where the main character is starting to face the repercussions of 9/11 happening in New York. So I really like it. This is told in a first person narrative style by our main character, who is in a cafe in Lahore, Pakistan, and he's talking to an American, and he's conveying his life story through this conversation that they're having. But it's really only a one-sided conversation. The American's responses are inferred by hearing Shangez's narrative, and so I'm finding it very engaging, and it's actually a great book for a readathon, I think, because of the tone and the pace. It just moves quite well, and it's easy to digest and move through. So really enjoying that. I am 100 pages into The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Enjoying it too. I think it's got a good pace so far, and things are developing and changing, and so yeah, enjoying the pace of that. And then The Wonderful Adventures of Mrs. Seacole in Many Lands, which is Mary Seacole's telling of her life story, is very enjoyable as well. It moves very slowly because, as you can see, the type is super tiny. So I'm on chapter 4, but it feels like I've read a lot more of it just because of how tiny the type is, but that's fine. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep reading, and I will check in again. I'll probably check in tomorrow with my wrap up for today because, as the night gets on, I'll probably get less coherent in terms of what I have to say about the books. I think my main priority is to finish The Reluctant Fundamentalist because I'm pretty close to halfway. It's a very short book. It's only 184 pages, so I feel like this is doable. Maybe not finishing it before the end of, I will definitely not finish it before the end of the readathon, but I'm hoping to finish it this weekend because I think it's totally doable. And then getting at least halfway in The Picture of Dorian Gray, and a better chunk into this one as well. Okay, talk to you later.
News declared that it was a BC NDP government. Throughout the evening, as we started to see polls come in, when you're looking at ridings like Langley, that is considered a BC Liberal stronghold, and also the hopes in ridings like Richmond with
Hi everybody. I just wanted to wrap up the Dewey's 24-hour readathon. It's Sunday, and I feel pretty happy with my reading. I made fairly good dents into The Picture of Dorian Gray and The Wonderful Adventures of Mrs. Seacole, and I finished The Reluctant Fundamentalist by Mohsin Hamid. I was very grateful to be reading this book this month because I had kind of a string of okay fiction, but hadn't read anything that really grabbed me and kept me engaged. So this book definitely did that. This is a great book for a readathon because it's quick, and it has a lot to chew on in here in a quick little book, 184 pages. So I think this is a really compelling read, and especially right now. This book was written in the early 2000s, 2007, and so a post 9/11 narrative. And what I really appreciate about this is that it takes a perspective of 9/11 that is not an American perspective. So Change is a Pakistani man graduating from Princeton, is recruited into a financial evaluations firm, so a firm that goes into a corporation or a business and evaluates it for a potential buyer. And Change is also navigating being a foreign person in the United States. He has, a mild degree of success at navigating university at Princeton, and then when he comes to New York to live, he finds that he feels at home there because there's such a multicultural atmosphere in New York, and he feels he fits in there and he doesn't stand out. And he wants to be successful, and he is kind of seduced by the American dream and by the fundamental qualities of the American way of life, including falling for an American girl. And he's, approaching that life without a lot of self-reflection around where he's come from and the type of life that he was living in Lahore, Pakistan. And what 9/11 does for him is it starts calling to question the things that he is giving up, the things that he is denying in himself about his culture and about his people, the fundamental things that he's participating in American culture that are potentially problematic for him as a Pakistani man living in the United States. He also finds that his relationship with Erica is not straightforward and is in a lot of ways makes him have to deny who he is and what he wants. And so it is very introspective in that it is exploring his way, like how this dream that he built for himself starts falling apart and starts revealing its true self and crumbling, and things are starting to be revealed. And so I would say that if you are an American, this could challenge a lot of your perceptions, because this isn't sentimental and it's not about 9/11 as a horrific loss of life, as a horrific act of terrorism. It's more about the repercussions of it in the rest of the world. And I think that, as a North American myself, I definitely, took a more North American perspective on that event. And this book shed light into what was going on in Pakistan pretty close to post 9/11, and also the inherent biases that exist in North Americans' way of life, in Western culture, in white supremacy, essentially. And this book was written before that language became as prevalent as it is now with the Black Lives Matter movement, etc. So that is something that I've been immersed in a lot of online classes, a lot of lectures and things like that, and books that I've been reading since June of this year. And so to me, even though Mohsin Hamid was probably not, trying to critique white supremacy in this book, it does do that. And that's one of its real strengths, in my opinion. You also have kind of an unreliable narrator situation, because you have this perception as he's speaking to this American who's visiting Lahore, Pakistan. That is it's a conversational tone. So he is speaking to this person, this unnamed American, for the entire book. And he's telling his story through this method. And to me, it was very effective. I really thought it, especially near the end, there was a bit of tension and a bit of uncertainty. And I thought that really added to an overall sense of the reverse situation. So him being a foreign person in America, and then this American being a foreign person in Pakistan. So that was really interesting. And I think his observations, Mohsin Hamid's writing is very clean, but also very poetic. And I love that about his writing. I don't think it was quite as beautiful as some of the passages in Exit West, but it still had some really compelling and profound statements. And so I'd like to read you one of those. It's near the end. Okay, so this is from page 167 of The Reluctant Fundamentalist. It seemed to me then, and to be honest, sir, seems to me still, that America was engaged only in posturing. As a society, you were unwilling to reflect upon the shared pain that united you with those who attacked you. You retreated into myths of your own difference, assumptions of your own superiority, and you acted out these beliefs on the stage of the world so that the entire planet was rocked by the repercussions of your tantrums, not least my family now facing war thousands of miles away. Such an America had to be stopped in the interests not only of the rest of humanity, but also in your own. So, that's there's a lot to unpack in that paragraph. And I wouldn't say that most of the book is exploring those issues with such specific references. The rest of the story is much more of an internal view of Shange's experience as working in America and dating an American girl. But, these are this is the profoundness of this book, is that it's calling to question the Western worldview and the white supremacist worldview in a very, important way. So this is a great book. I would recommend it. And it definitely would challenge a lot of people's thoughts and ways of looking at the world. And I think that's good. I'm always looking for challenging viewpoints, because I want to be self-aware and aware of where other people's views, that I just wouldn't know because of my specific upbringing and where I live and what I go through. So if you're interested in that as well, I would definitely recommend this. So pretty successful Deweys for me to finish a book. I didn't count the number of hours I read. I instead tried to focus on, pages, just reading those pages. And that is all I have to say for this vlog. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back again soon with another video.